Coming back to the find method here. So after the very important map, filter and reduce method, we have some more methods to learn which are also super important and used all the time. So in this lecture, we are going to talk about the find method. So as the name says, we can use the find method to retrieve one element of an array based on a condition. So let's again use our movements here. So let's just find like any other methods. So we have been talking about the find method also accepts a condition, and just like the other array methods we have been talking about, the find method also accepts a callback function which will then be called as the method loops or the arrays. All right, so find is basically just another method that loops over the array, but then it does something different. But in this case, what the find does is retrieve an element of the array. So as the current element of the iteration is the movement, and then here we specify a condition. So here we write this movements dot find move. Here we are using the arrow function. So from our movements here we are writing this. So basically this is here a withdrawal, right? So a negative movement. So there you see, just like the filter method, the find method needs a callback function that returns a boolean. So the result of this of course is either a true or false. Unlike the filter method, the find method will actually not return a new array. It will return only the first element in the array that satisfies the condition. So basically, in other words, the first element in the array for which this operation here becomes true, and so basically this here will return the first withdrawal. So let me just store this here in the constant first withdrawal. Okay, and then let me just here console.log movements and also console.log first withdrawal. So when I run this, as you can see here, the first withdrawal, which is the negative movement, which here it is going to call according to this condition here. So which is the 400, which here we got here the return the 400. So as you see, the find method is a bit similar to the filter method, but there are two fundamental differences. First, filter returns all the elements that matches the condition, while the find method only returns the first one and the second. And even more important, the filter method returns a new array, while the find only return the element itself, not an array. Okay, so make sure that you understand this fundamental difference. So let's now take it to the next level and start actually working with our array of objects. So for that, we'll just do here is we'll just console.log accounts. See here we got our accounts here, right? This accounts array, remember this array which contains here the four objects, where each of them here is the one account, as I mentioned earlier. So this is a very pretty common data structure in JavaScript. So let's now work with this together. Okay, with the find method, because in this context the find method actually becomes really helpful. So that because using this find method, we can now basically find an object in the array based on some property of the object. So let me just show you that here. So here I'm just doing constant account equals to, I'm setting here this accounts dot find. So let's say we want to get the account where the owner is Jessica Davis, and now here we'll write that. So from the account owner, so here we are setting here, we are checking here to Jessica Davis. So when I run this, as you can see here, it is returning the owner Jessica Davis, which here it is this one. So here indeed we got this object, and this is very powerful of arrays and objects. So where one array contains multiple objects, which all these have a similar structure, all of them here have an owner, have a movement, a pin, a username, and so on. Okay, so using this find method, we can then search this array basically to find an object that matches a certain property that we already know. So in this case, the property here we know here is the name. All right, so we simply compare Jessica Davis here with the account owner. So whenever this condition here is true, then the object is written. So usually the goal of the find method here is used to find the exactly one element, and therefore we usually set up a condition where only one element can satisfy that condition. So that's why we use the equal operator here. Okay, if the owner names are unique, then this equal operator here will only ever match one condition with the name here. Okay, and we'll actually use this in the next couple of lectures to implement the login feature and also some other features. Now I'm going to leave it to you here as a challenge to implement this functionality using the for of, just like we have been doing with the some of the other methods like map and filter we have been also implementing. So using this for of loop, just see the difference. But now I'm not going to do that, but I'm leaving here as it is an idea for you to do that. Okay, now anyway, let's now go to the next video and actually start implementing the logging functionality. So that's it for this video.